Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. Today I'm going to be testing out the new Chakram thrower, and I've got a few groups right now in Scenario Editor. But the big idea is that the Chakram thrower has gotten some pretty big changes on the last patch. Initially I thought it was a nerf, some other people thought it was a buff, and some people just don't know if it was a nerf or a buff. So there's a lot of confusion in the air, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and test out some things myself in the Scenario Editor to see if it was a nerf or a buff. I have some ideas myself that I want to talk about beforehand. So the idea was the changes were as follows. The Chakram thrower kept the same range and armor and HP, but the only thing that was different is the attack. The attack was nerfed quite heavily from 6 to 4 for the elite version. So total you have 4 plus 6 now, so you have 6 total instead of 8 total. However, you do now 100% damage on a pass through. Before it was 50%. So if I attack the first unit, beforehand it used to do 8 damage if the opponent had 0 armor, and then units behind that would take 4 damage. Now if I attack, the first unit takes 6 damage, and all the units behind that would take 6 damage. It sounds like it's a buff, but I didn't factor in enemy armor, and that's the big idea. So now, and also, last thing to mention, the Chakram thrower got +1 damage versus infantry units, which we're going to talk about as well. So, okay, why are these changes significant? The idea is that if a unit has a certain amount of armor, the Chakram thrower will actually do 1 damage on the initial shot, and since it's 100% pass-through damage, it'll do 1 damage for every shot. For example, Cavalier has 2 armor plus 3, so 5 total armor versus 6 damage. So any unit with 2 base armor plus the 3 that they get, so 5 armor total, makes the Chakram thrower do only 1 damage to them, except infantry, which will always take a minimum of 2 damage because of the attack bonus that you get. Remember, the attack bonus comes on after armor. Alright, and then for Arbalest, of course, they don't have any armor, so it's 0 plus 3. So we can expect the Chakram thrower to do 3 damage per shot on the pass-through for Arbalest. Okay, so I'm going to run these tests, and before I get started, guys, a lot of people keep telling me for these scenario videos, yo, make it equal cost, it makes the video a lot better. I thought about it, but honestly, I see where you guys are coming from. I don't think that's the purpose of this video. I don't care to test equal resources between Chakrams and Cavalier. I just want to show the interaction between Chakrams and Cavalier and give you guys my thoughts about it. So the background is really just, you know, a chance for me to talk about the unit and show some different scenarios. It's not like, oh, who wins, Chakrams or Cavalier in this number and equal resources, because let's be honest, I can't micro on both sides, so this isn't even a real fight. So don't get too, too caught up in the resources. It's not the important part of the video. We just want to see the different kinds of interactions here. That's the main thing. So archers in approaching Chakrams. I'm actually gonna keep the archers in spread formation, but I first want to show a few archers. So I'm gonna take 5. There's 55 left, so it's a good amount. I'm gonna just put them like in a line if possible, and I'm gonna show you what happens if the Chakrams can land all the shots. That's the first thing I want to show you guys, just to show you guys the true power of this. So I can even do the math and figure out how much it takes to one-shot it. So I'm going to do 3 damage per shot. So 3 times 10 is 30, plus another 3. So I need 14 Chakrams to actually one-shot all of these guys. So I'm going to need 14 Chakrams, I believe, to completely one-shot these archers. I'm going to try with 13, actually, just to make sure my calculations are actually correct here. 13 should leave the archers on 1 HP. So let's try this out. So you go up close, and because they're in a line here, we're going to attack the first one. And there we go, they're all on 1 HP, and we can just finish them off. So that's the kind of power of the Chakrams there. If the units are lined up, you can easily thin them out. But let's see what happens if the Arbalests are in mass and they're in spread formation, which is what you should do against Chakrams. Let's see how the Chakrams will perform. So the Chakrams probably just want to spread out and run in, and then as you get closer, just patrol into them. And let's see the kind of carnage that takes place. I'm actually not sure who will win this fight and how it will look like, but right off the bat, looks like it's pretty even, actually, which is pretty decent. I mean, there were more Arbalests in this fight, so it's going to be hard, obviously, to tell. But again, the point is not to see who wins the fight, it's to see the interaction. And I would say that it's pretty even. You know, Arbalests had the numbers, Arbalests have a couple extra range, but if the Chakram get close enough, they can actually thin out the Arbalests quite easily. But overall, if the Arbalests are in spread formation, the Arbalests will be completely fine against this new Chakram thrower. This is to be expected. The Chakram thrower did get a nerf in this scenario because it does less damage overall. And yeah, I would say that it's pretty expected for the Arbalests to win that. I think before the Chakram throwers would probably win, now Arbalests are winning. So right away, it's a nerf. And in this scenario, it's going to be a massive nerf. So what's going to happen is the Cavaliers will take only 1 damage. So it's not even going to be close here. Take a look at the damage of the Cavalier. It's completely ridiculous. The Chakram thrower is basically a skirmisher. It's gonna kill 0 units. Yeah, they do 100% passive damage, but it's 1 damage to every unit, so it's just so weak. And as you can see beforehand, the Chakrams weren't great against Cavalier, but they weren't bad against Cavalier. Now the Chakram is so weak, so we start with 30 Cavalier versus 40 Chakrams. And as you can see, 28 Cavalier make it out. And yeah, some of them are weak, but it's like, yeah, they only kill 2, and you know, a lot of them are still like pretty close to full HP. So pretty much the conclusion is any unit with 2 melee armor that gets +3s, any unit that gets a total of 5 melee armor is going to completely destroy the Chakrams. Let's see how the infantry will do though right now. We have Chakrams against champions, so 40 Chakrams versus versus 45 champions, fully upgraded. The champions have 1 melee armor, so we can expect the Chakram to do 2 damage plus the 1 that they get, so 3 damage per shot. Let's see how this looks like. And this looks rather decent actually. You're actually thinning out the champions quite nicely. Obviously if I micro, it's going to be a little bit better. Maybe I can add some micro into this one. Whereas Cav is harder to micro, but infantry is pretty easy to micro against, so this actually seems pretty good. So in this situation, I believe the Chakrams did get a buff. And why is it important to understand the situations where the Chakram got a buff? Now we have to understand the new identity of the Chakram. The Chakram is not a unit that kills everything anymore. It's a unit that excels against infantry. This is extremely important to understand because Gurjaras need an answer to Halberdier, and they also could use a small answer to infantry like Champion because they don't get Cavalier themselves or Paladin. They get Sharamsha Rider, which excels against archer units, and the Chakram is now pretty much completely anti-infantry. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how this looks like again. Versus Halbs this time. There's a lot of Halbs here. I really went ham with the Halbs, but yeah, the Halbs should get completely shredded, and that's the idea I want to showcase. Now the Chakrams are way more effective at killing Halberdier. And remember, this is a Halberdier in spread formation. If your opponent bunches them up, they're going to take pretty significant damage as well. So as you can see, it's a pretty dominant fight. We're completely shredding all the Halbs, and yeah, it's really easy to deal with those units. That was like 70 Halbs, and the Chakrams completely shred them. So just to give you guys a quick idea of Gurjara. So you have hand cannoneer, right? You could go for hand cannoneer if you want to. You have elephant archers if you want to. But the Chakrams are going to be better than those options when going up against low armor infantry. Against high armor infantry like Teutonic tanks, like Teutonic knights, you're going to want hand cannoneer because the Chakram will only do 2 damage per shot. That's pretty much the idea of the Chakrams, guys. Do let me know if I missed out on any key ideas. But overall, just in conclusion, I will say that it's overall a nerf. The Chakram thrower is now pretty much just a skirmisher type unit. It's a counter unit. It's good against pretty much only infantry with low armor, and it's okay against archer units, and it's pretty good against skirms because they don't do a lot of damage to Chakrams. But it's really bad against heavy cavalry. It's probably going to be okay versus Hussar, but the Hussar will run too fast at them. So probably the last test I was missing was Hussar. But yeah, other than that, there's really not too much to talk about. And I would say like last thing I'll show, like I have 60 Chakrams here. Let's even try to micro against the Cavalier. Like let's see like the absolute limits. The Cavalier guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's running in, one shot here. Oh no, that's a bit too ridiculous. And it's like I'm obviously doing 60 damage per shot, so it's not bad, but it's not good either. Those Cavalier were very weak, so with 60 Chakrams, you can barely deal with Cav, and obviously those Cav are weak, so it's a very scuffed test, of course. But it's like the more Chakrams you have, the more impressive they look, but they're not going to be as strong as they were before. It's an overall nerf, and I think if the Cav player is even remotely competent, he's going to be able to surround you and take you out. And yeah, so that's my idea with the Chakram. It's now good against infantry. Make sure you use it against Halberdier, especially with the Gurjaras. But then if you're up against heavy cav, really stick to your camels. The Chakram is no longer that power unit that can kill everything. It's more just a situational unit. Probably good changes overall. This unit was pretty overpowered, but I don't know. I personally thought it was fine before. Me personally. But now it's probably going to be just slightly weaker. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.